We have a big news item with Cooper Kupp. Is he not returning? At the time of this recording, we don't really know exactly where he's at. Seems like he was practicing, which is good. And it seems like he really wants to get on the field, but reporting is just like all over the place with Cooper Kupp right now.
Yeah.
But one of the big questions, I answered this in my mailbag episode, but I do think that having a different perspective would be really, really nice for people to hear. We got Puka Nacua, we have Cooper Kupp. With Cooper Kupp returning, are you now nervous about Puka Nacua and his role in this offense and what he might be able to do in fantasy football?
Not really. I mean, this is sort of obvious, I guess, but I think he's not going to get as many targets in this offense if and when Kupp comes back. And it sounds like, I mean, I don't know. It seems like he's going to come back. I think there's questions over like his longevity and things like that,
right?
With Cooper Kupp and how long he can keep playing. If this is a bigger injury than people are kind of letting on, but I generally think he's probably going to play this year and see how it goes, and they're going to go for it. And he's probably going to get a ton of targets. He's probably going to sort of drop back into the number one receiver of this offense and get a ton of production. And I think Puka can still be, and because he's playing more, people are kind of joking that he's the new Kupp, but he's definitely playing sort of like the Robert Woods role in the offense, where he's outside. Yeah. He's doing things that are complementary to what Cooper Kupp can do. And so I think there's still going to be a lot of Puka Nacua. I think he obviously has the trust of Matt Stafford, and that's important. Obviously, they're having breakfast together like that. This is like the biggest variable in fantasy football in the last like 5 years. Like if you had breakfast with Matt Stafford, like check yes or no, we're going to take you in the first round. But I think the way that they funnel like targets in this offense, I'm still very excited about Puka Nacua. I think he's not a flash in the pan, because I think he is exactly what this offense needs, and he's a perfect fit for that. And he's a perfect fit for Matt Stafford. He's a big, tough, physical guy. Like I've been very impressed with him, not just from like a target standpoint, but just like the way he plays. So
yeah,
I think, I'm not panicking about Puka. I don't think you can expect him to be a top 5 receiver necessarily, but I do think he could still finish as a wide receiver 1 in in this league. And so, I'm very interested to see what happens with Cooper Kupp, obviously, because there was this is stupid, but there's clips of him running like a ladder. I saw
that too.
And I was like, he looks pretty good. Like he didn't look like he was going slow. He's like cutting, he was exploding off of his back foot. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get this going and see how it all goes. Obviously there's a big injury, a re-injury risk, I'm sure, but I just want to see him out there and see how this all goes.
Yeah, me too. And I agree with you. The Robert Woods thing was actually a comp that, I wasn't the first to say it for sure. I mean, there were people during literally when he was drafted that were saying this could be, the Robert Woods in this offense. But then, you start to see all the hype going on over the summer, and it was like, all right, well, maybe this is, he had a really good yards per route run rate his final collegiate season. And there were some signs that Puka Nacua could ball, and we're obviously seeing him play really well. You mentioned his physicality. I only bring that up because if you haven't watched Puka Nacua play, you need to watch Puka Nacua play, because it's like legitimately entertaining, because he's throwing his body around like crazy out there.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you always see, from wide receivers who, there's some guys who will just fall down, when it comes to contact, and he is not that kind of player. I think he can still maintain, when people make the argument that you should just sell guys like a Nacua because there's going to be a dip in production. If the market's not reacting that way, then you can't sell that player. Like if you can sell Puka Nacua for Stephon Diggs right now, who is one spot below him in overall rankings, sure, go for it. Like make that trade.
Yeah.
But that's not happening right now in redraft leagues. Like you're not able to get Stephon Diggs for Puka Nacua. And as a result, I agree with you. I think that he can coexist. He's played 30% of he's run 30% of his routes from the slot, when Kupp is usually in that 60% range.
Yep.
I mean, they're not playing the exact same role, even though it's an easy narrative to just say, oh, this is the Cooper Kupp role in this offense. So I'm with you, man.
I think he's just good. This is another one of those players that just seems to fall through the cracks in the draft for whatever reason. It's I don't know. He wasn't even playing like a full complement of snaps for his college team. I don't know what's going on there.
It's crazy.
But like you said, the yards per route run, he was like number 1, I think, in college football last year. And then, he's like PFF's top graded receiver. So obviously he was doing something right. I remember watching both Zach Wilson and Jaron Hall, and Puka Nacua. This guy Puka Nacua kept flashing, and kept obviously like hindsight's 2020, but I remember I like stop and like look up who this guy is at a couple different times because I'm like, man, this guy keeps making plays. So I think he is a legit good player. But like I said earlier, he just fell to the right team, the right situation. Obviously, Cooper Kupp got hurt, and he was able to go out and ball out, and he's literally like setting records.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a total fluke, but I think he's still going to maintain his role. It's just you can't expect him to be like a top 3, top 5 guy anymore.